You're listening to the Handcrafted Therapy podcast with massage therapist and business owner, Julie Alexander. That's me. I'm your host. I've been a massage therapist for 17 years, and I have a business marketing degree. On this podcast, we'll be interviewing industry professionals that can talk to us about how to run your business better, how to be a better massage therapist overall, and how to take care of yourself and give yourself a little love, a little self-care. Little grace in your life. I am so glad that you're here. Thanks so much for joining us today. Well, thanks for joining us. Miss Mandy Root is originally
Hatch now.
Hatch. Gosh, I didn't even get it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Talk about scratching and starting over. Gosh, it's so silly. So I met Mandy. Hello. I met Mandy several years ago before she was married.
Yes.
And she was Miss Mandy Root. And now she's Mrs. Mandy Hatch. Right?
Yes.
And we were serving on the American Massage Therapy Association, the AMTA's Texas Board of Directors, along with Ashley, the podcast manager, and a few other awesome folks. And we just had so much fun. Brenda Padilla was part of it. Brenda's now the Texas chapter president. Give a shout out to Miss Brenda in Fort Worth. She's amazing. She has a school out there that she runs. I had the pleasure of working with Mandy on that board of directors, and she was such a pleasure to work with. I've been keeping in touch or watching where Mandy goes because I'm curious. Because she's my friend and I want to watch her path in life. And I noticed that she had put on a Facebook post that she had completed a Chinese medicine class.
Yes. Integrative Chinese medicine for massage.
Integrated Chinese medicine for massage. And it just made me go, oh, that's a curious thing. I want to know more about it. And I thought, if I want to know more about it, I know my listeners would want to hear too. And it's just so awesome to have Mandy in my life. She's a breath of fresh air and a joy to be around. And I thought she'll be a perfect person to interview.
Thank you.
Yeah. So where are you practicing at now, Mandy? Where do you live?
I live in North Carolina now, right outside of, I was going to say Fort Liberty, but I know they changed the name. Or Fort Bragg. It was formerly Fort Bragg, not Fort Liberty. But yes, okay. I'm currently not practicing yet. I'm still, because it took me over a year just to get my license in the first place. So I'm still just kind of just letting it take its time. And, we only have maybe another year and a half left here before the Army decides to move us again. So I don't know exactly if I really want to jump forth and move forward with my business necessarily, but I am thankful to have my license. And, if I choose to work, then I can, and, we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah. Well, and that's a really unusual, in my world, it's an unusual way to live, right? Is to be on the move a lot with the military. And then not only that, to be a practicing massage therapist in the military has got to be challenging, because as soon as you start working on and establishing a clientele base, it's time to move.
Yep.
And you were in Texas, and now
I was in Texas,
Carolina, and you're planning to come back to Texas. Is that correct?
Eventually, yes. My husband wants to retire, hopefully in the San Antonio area. So we both really love that area. So we know we're coming back to Texas eventually. So yay, because I really, really miss Texas very much. But North Carolina, at least AMTA peeps, they're very good to me. They've been taking care of me and stuff. But so at least that was some bright light here.
Yeah.
But I definitely miss Texas. So for sure.
Well, we can't wait for you to come back to Texas. We loved you here.
Well, thank you.
You everywhere, but we really love you in Texas. So, Mandy, you've said that you've had some challenges getting your license in North Carolina. I know each state has their own specific requirements. Have you found it challenging, as apparently yes, to get your license, an active license in a new state?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
typical?
Well, this for as far as me being a massage therapist and being part of the military life, this is actually my first experience moving. So yeah, I didn't know what to expect at all. I actually thought it was going to be pretty straightforward and easy, and it was not at all. And I'm really hoping that they push that interstate compact through. I hope more states, jump on board with that, because that would certainly make my life easier. And I know there's other, military spouses out there that are also LMTs that, I could see how this might be discouraging them from wanting to, be actively practicing massage, because it is definitely challenging.
So this new law would mean that, can you talk a little bit about that? I don't know much about it and I'm not very versed in it. So
from what I understand, it's supposed to be the states that agree to it. Basically, if you have an active license and you've passed your background check and all that, you can, say like, me moving from Texas to North Carolina, instead of me jumping through all the hoops that I had to jump through just to get a brand new license, they would just recognize that my Texas license is in good standing and say, okay, well, you're welcome to practice here in our state under your Texas license. And then the benefits of that are I wouldn't have to follow the North Carolina CE requirements. I'd be expected to follow Texas requirements instead of having to juggle both. So that would be very nice. As far as I understand, they have to have at least 7 states for it to actually go through. And I think they're one or 2 states short right now. So for our listeners out there, I highly encourage you, write your Congress people, your senators, because, tell them that we want this, that's the only way it's going to get even noticed or pushed, is if our Congress people, our representatives know that as, military spouses, and not just military spouses, but LMTs in general, we want this to go through and stuff. And it'd be so beneficial to us if they push it through instead of having to jump through so many hoops. So
good call to action, Mandy. I
yes.
like. You have homework, listeners. You have homework. You better do it. Okay, so tell us a little bit about this class that you took. What was it about? How were you drawn to take this class? How many hours was it? What made you want to sign up for this?
I actually got interested in it because back when we lived in Hawaii, I got my bachelor's of science in natural health. So I kind of touched a little bit about Chinese medicine, and it got me interested, but I never really understood how to fully incorporate that into my massage business. And so when I saw Raisla's post about, learning about the Chinese 5 elements and then doing this program, I was like, okay, let's explore this a little bit and see, see where it goes, because I was very intrigued by the name Integrative Chinese Medicine, specifically for massage. And so I was like, all right. And it's just been an amazing, eye-opening experience for me. I'm a level 1 Reiki. So I already kind of understood like the basics of Qi. And so that actually, I think, was beneficial for me but I think like Reiki's kind of like more generalized, if you think in a sense, where Chinese medicine and learning like acupressure and acutouch, you're getting very, very specific with points, and then learning the meridians. And it was really neat. It was really fun. Raisla, she's an amazing instructor. I highly recommend her. I'm giving a shout out to you. But she's out of Bellingham, Washington. So for, our listeners that are in the Washington state area, go see her live. She actually offered this program online. That was another thing that really attracted me to this, was that she offers it once a week. And, we'd be doing like we're doing right now, just talking on Zoom, my fellow classmates and stuff. She'd break it down in nice little nuggets, because when you're learning the meridians and you're learning AccuTouch and you're learning all the points, it's a lot of information. So it's a 10-month program, and it was 96 credit hours. So yeah, it was a lot. And the fascinating thing is that we're learning it, but we're learning it on ourselves. So it's like, that was the fun part about it. It's like, we know when we're practicing, we're doing we're going through all the steps, but we're doing it on ourselves. So we could feel the experience. And so we know, like, now when I offer it to my clients, I know exactly what they're going to feel, So, I mean, that's pretty cool. It's not like, as massage therapists, like we could just massage ourselves, I know we wish we could, but for this part, like we could actually do it on ourselves. You get that self-care, but then also getting to be able to give back to our clients. So it was a neat experience. It really was.
So you did this online. It was 97 credit hours. Does that mean it was a 97-hour class?
It was actually 5 different classes over the course of 10 months. We would meet once a week, and then we'd have homework that we had to do, and you have to keep your little log and stuff. And so there was times I'd practice on myself, mostly on myself, but luckily, because I'm not working yet, I just practice on my husband, or my kids would be my guinea pigs and stuff. So I had lots of practice.
That's awesome. So yeah, tell me a little bit about how you worked on yourself, like more specifically.
More specifically, some of the points of that I could just show you, like the most recent ones that should have us do it's called the Shen Nen, and it's right in the tip of your ear. And we put bergamot on there, and it's supposed to clear your mind. And you're just sitting there and you're just waiting for the energy to change, and you can feel your mind clear just by holding that point. I mean, it was amazing. Or putting a little bit of rosemary on the top of your head, and there's a specific point on the top of your head that you just hold it. And at first, when you're doing it, you're thinking, this just feels weird. But then, like, when you really like get into it, you're like, this really works. This is amazing. I'm like, my head, in fact, I did it right before I logged in and stuff, just so I wanted my mind nice and clear. But I'm like, this is it's so amazing how calming it is, how more focused I can be now. This is something like when my clients come in, if they're feeling like they're just scattered, I'm like, I can offer this to them. This is something that's just so simple, but yet very effective. And it's, and I can add it to my normal routine in conjunction too. And it's just like, this is amazing. The main thing about the Chinese medicine and stuff, it's eye-opening in the sense that for those of us, we know about the whole holistic, the mind-body connection, but I think a lot of times we don't always know how to put that into our practice and stuff. We kind of get very hyper-focused on the physical, and we sometimes often forget about the emotional, spiritual aspect of our clients. And that's very much a Western medicine, type of thinking. Well, going through this program, it really opened my eyes to realizing that instead of just focusing on what that client needs physically in that moment, what else is going on emotionally and spiritually with them that is causing them to keep having these issues? And let's address that so they don't keep having these issues. And that's the cool thing. So.
Yeah, I love that. We were just talking about that this morning. I was at Kikino Massage Academy teaching business marketing to the new cute little massage therapists. I love them. Being around new therapists is so exciting. And we were talking about how in today's world, you almost have to up your massage game. So, I think that really connecting to that, or getting in touch with that mind-body connection, and not just working on people in their physical bodies, but connecting their physical bodies to the emotional, and head body is important, because like you said, you get stuck if you're in that mental capacity where you have a chronic pain and you expect it to be there. It is going to be there because you expect it to be there. But if you change your mental focus, you can actually change your physical characteristics. And I know that sounds really cheesy and really like hokey, but I do believe that to be true. I just finished the book, The Hidden Messages in Water. Have you read this book?
Not yet.
So it's really incredibly cool. I would highly recommend it to you and our listeners, because we're made of mostly water. Our bodies are mostly water. And what's really cool about this book is that it shows pictures of frozen, crystallized water. And they have an experiment where they put water in like a jar. Maybe they put rice in a jar. Anyway, either way, they talk to this jar and say, "You're beautiful. I appreciate you. You're the best." And that water is like now beautiful and tastes good. And the other water is like being told, we don't like you. You're bad water. And the water that was spoke poorly to was actually created problems in the water, and it was foggy and gross and tasted bad. But what was even worse was the water that was ignored. It was even worse than the one that was spoke poorly to because it was completely ignored. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, we're all bodies of water, basically. And if we speak kindly to one another and think about the emotional and the physical being, we can better help heal more, more people. And I think that that's a concept that we have to, as facilitators of healing, we have to kind of pass that message along to our clients, that your emotional self is not disconnected from your body, but it's actually totally integrated. And I think that's kind of what you're saying is that, using these very old Eastern medicine philosophies, you can tap into that.
You're right on it. It's definitely, and that's what's just so neat. And then, for me also, the other reason why I was really interested in doing this is because, I'm not getting younger, obviously. And, this is my second career. I hope to last, I'm just barely hitting my 8-year mark. And so I'm still very much a baby as compared to like the massage world. And I hope to last, maybe 20 years. So, hopefully, I mean, we'll see how many years God blesses me with, but I want to learn other modalities that can help me save my hands because I don't like doing deep work. And I know that there's so many, lighter touch modalities out there where I could really, help my clients. I just got to like, tap into that and stuff. And so this is kind of like, after learning the natural health and getting my bachelor's and stuff, and then getting my massage license, I feel like I just kind of come full circle. I'm like, now I can, like a puzzle piece, I can just connect it all together now. And now I know this is the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, you've really found your path. And I like
yes.
that. We were just talking about that this morning at Kikino, how, it might take a while to find your niche. And for you, it looks like you found your niche in about 8 years. And I think some of us never find our niches, and that's okay too. But I think if you're working for yourself and you really want to become successful, it's important to hone in on a niche and really focus in and take that path. And I love the fact that you've been on that path and you've just accelerated yourself because you found an even better way to tie in your knowledge from previous education experiences to what you're doing now. So that's awesome.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, and it sounds like this specific class utilizes things that we already use in practice.
Yes.
Essential oils and kind of the intuition behind massage, right? Making sure the intentions that you're going towards for your client is actually relayed through your touch.
Yeah, I think I definitely, after going through this program, I'm definitely going to be even more intentional now. It's like, yeah, I know, it was there before, but I just think, this really makes you, just kind of pause. And instead of being like, okay, let's just go fix this like lower back pain, or let's just go fix this shoulder. Well, what's the, what is causing this? What's the emotions behind this? Where is my client in this moment that, this is the manifestation physically that they're coming to me and stuff. So, how can I address this? And, another thing about this program is, we learn like through the 5 elements that it's not just, about like certain points, but like how the elements, the seasons, that all, plays into effect and stuff. And, it's amazing that, like learning like the acupressure class, just certain points I can actually affect something internally, not like specific, like like the lungs or the liver or the kidneys and stuff from just hitting a certain point. I'm not even massaging. I'm just holding a point. I mean, like that is like amazing to me,
Wow.
And so, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it's powerful what we do. The power of touch is incredibly powerful. And I don't think that we really understand how much power we have in our touch. And I think when you take a class like what you've taken and you realize the small touch and the intention behind it could just be super powerful, I love that so much. So, besides the essential oils and then like talking about the meridians and things like that, now, do you go into like actual Chinese medicine?
We learn not so much like Chinese medicine, like per se and stuff, other than the 5 elements part and stuff. She did touch on that, but it's like, it was more like, okay, how do you here's the Chinese medicine. Here's like what they believe in and stuff, why they believe in it. Now, how does this, affect these areas and stuff? And so like with the, when you're working like the energy points and the meridians and then learning like the specific points, she's teaching us the Chinese names for that. So it's not just like learning like, okay, this is just this point, like lung 1 or bladder, whatever. It's actually these, this is the meaning behind it. This is why they call it that. And so, so she really did a good job of when she was saying it was integrative, like she really did a good job of incorporating what Chinese medicine is and the meaning and the specifics into going into like learning the meridians, learning the points. And it's just, it was really cool. It was a lot of information though, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm thankful I have my books to keep, looking back on to, for reference, because I have a feeling I'm going to need them for quite some time.
That's probably true, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mandy, you mentioned the name of your instructor was what?
Raisla.
Raisla? And what's the name of her company?
Open Pathways. Like I said, she's based out of Bellingham, Washington. I know she posts quite often on Facebook. She has her own Facebook page, with her school, and she posts quite frequently on different massage therapy sites. I've seen her post. So yeah, I definitely recommend that, if anyone's interested. She is a wonderful instructor, and it's nice that she does offer it on Zoom. She actually did that because of COVID. So I guess, hey, thank you, COVID, that there are some good things that came out of it. Yeah. But it's nice to be able to do this in the comfort of your own home. And, when you can, carve out an hour and a half once a week and, and do this. And it's just like, it's pretty cool. So
that's awesome. I found her website. It's openpathwaysmassage.com. offering continuing education for massage therapists in the Chinese healing arts. So I'm glad you found her, and I'm glad you gave us an update on that, because I think it's just so important to really invest in your own success, right? I've talked about this in some previous episodes, but I want to reiterate this point, which is the best thing you can do is invest in yourself. You're the best investment in you.
Yes, for sure.
Ridiculous. But, I mean, even if the class ends up not being something that is specific to your path, right? Like you found your path. And this might be a left turn on my path, but it could still integrate into what my path could look like. I mean, there's so many places to go in massage. I mean, you could go down sports medicine, you could go down homeopathic, you could go down energy work path, or you can find a path and merge several paths into one to make your own practice successful for you. And this is just a really good example of a niche that is incredibly creative and special. I mean, you don't see it everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get this type of work done at one of the franchises or the chains.
Exactly.
And so, we talk about niche a lot on this program. And I think that one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this class is because I think this is a perfect example of a really good niche where not a lot of people are practicing it. It's something we need. And it's not something a lot of people know a lot about. So this is a really good opportunity for you as a facilitator of healing and a massage therapist to educate your clients on how touch can really accelerate the healing process. But not only that, using secret ingredients like essential oils on your crown, or on the tips of your ears, like you said, and finding those points that really make that more effective, right?
Yes. I think if anything, that COVID taught us is just how important touch really is. I mean, I think, that was like, like the biggest takeaway after 2 years of like, no, distancing ourselves and don't touch me and don't get too close, is that we need human touch to thrive. And, another nice thing about the Chinese medicine is that I can teach my clients to do these points on themselves as homework. So it's like, even when I'm not around, I can still share that knowledge with them. And if they're feeling like, okay, I need to push this point or that point to make myself feel better, they have that knowledge. It's not, they don't have to wait to like, a week or a month to see me again. They can do it right then, right there. And it's just so easy to use. Like my kids even can use it. It's so simple, so effective. And it's just like, why not? And like you said, I truly believe, yes, the niche is the key, because you think what they teach us in massage school is just, so small compared to just how much we can really branch out as therapists. And I think it's very important for us because, we want to be recognized as a healthcare profession, but yet we want to get stuck in these like little bubbles and just that's it. And it's like, no, there's so much more out there. Why just be stuck?
It's true. One of the students today mentioned that he got into massage therapy because he didn't want to be bored. And I said, well, this is a great profession to be in if you don't want to be bored, because you can be constantly learning new things. And I am kind of a class addict. I love taking classes. And because I'm
right there with you.
It's just my favorite thing. Just put me in front of an instructor and I'll take notes. I don't care what class it is. I'll ask questions and take notes. It doesn't matter. But I love learning and I love asking questions and I love finding out more information about stuff. And, I think it's beneficial to my clients. They know that I'm doing this. They know I'll go out and ask questions and get more information and try to really like help them as much as I can. Because the more I know about stuff, the more I can help them, right?
Exactly. Never stop learning. That's what I say.
Never stop learning.
When you stop learning, we stop growing. And then it's like, it's just like you just remain in that same pattern. But then it's like, how are you really benefiting your clients if you're not growing? It's like, they grow right along with you, because the more knowledge you have, the more you can help them and pass that along. So it's like, yeah, never stop learning. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to learn next now.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's great that you're actually giving people the lemons to make their own lemonade.
Yes. I think it's important, because it's like, we know, like I said, we can't like really massage ourselves, but this is something that like, hey, look, I can't send you home to tell you, yeah, go massage this, your shoulder or your lower back, but I can say, hey, put some aromatherapy on these certain points and stuff, and tell them what oils to use on what points too. That's also a key and stuff. It's like, look, yeah, you could put any oil you want, but I know where to put it now. That's going to be really impactful in your life and make a huge difference very quickly,
Yeah. And you can send them home with some oil and say, just put it here.
Yeah.
Here.
And it's like, because, with the oils, they're not putting pressure on anything. It's just, you're just holding the oil in place and stuff. And there's areas like what she taught us, like if they have certain oils, maybe they can't hold it for whatever reason, you put it on a cotton ball and just put the cotton ball there, because it's just about the oil, affecting the chi. It's not about like sitting there trying to do anything with it. So it's like, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. But you could use a Band-Aid, right?
Yeah, you could. I mean, I learned a little bit about AccuTouch, aroma AccuTouch for pregnancy. So I kind of was familiar with that. But now this is like whole new level because this is for specifically neck, shoulder problems, for lower back pain, for tension headaches, it's a lot for anxiety. I mean, I have like all these tools now that I could just throw in there. And it's like, this is really neat. And I'm not sitting here like breaking a sweat, no like steamrolling anybody or digging my elbows or, nothing like that. It's like, this is really cool.
Yeah. You're unleashing the power of the essential oils onto their body and helping them get relief in that way. And it's, pretty harmless, right?
Exactly.
I mean, unless you're allergic to it, I think it sounds like it's a good option. In your class, did you learn about Chinese herbs too?
Not herbs, no.
Not herbs.
Yeah, not herbs. Just aromatherapy. So, and then like we learned some shiatsu and tuina, and she showed us how to do that. So it's definitely, with this program, like it really, you have to slow down. It really makes you like, you have to slow down and really so if you're used to just like with your massage, just go, like, yeah, you're going to have a hard time shifting gears. Cause I know initially I did and stuff with learning the tuina moves and the shiatsu. And it's like, oh, and she's like, slow, because you're really having to get in touch with what the chi feels like. And you can't do that if you're going fast. You have to really take your time. So
interesting. Well, and I know that there are Chinese medicine professionals that study for years, sometimes decades, before they become masters of their craft.
I'm sure I'll never be a master in this.
Well, I don't know. You're
barely like broke the tip of the iceberg.
Well, you know a lot more than I do about it. Even if it is, 97 hours versus 0 versus somebody who's been doing this for their whole life. I mean, I go to an acupuncturist and he's been studying this his whole life and he's probably in his 40s. So it's just interesting to me, that you can take this. I love the fact that the class that you took is specifically for massage therapists and how to integrate it into massage therapy.
And no needles.
Yeah, and no needles. Because,
I'm like, that's the neat thing. It's like you think, okay, learning the acupressure, I'm learning the exact same points that he's using as an acupuncturist, but I'm not using needles. I'm just using my finger,
So when you were studying the meridians, how did that change your viewpoint of the body and how you work in massage therapy? Or did it?
Well, it did. I'd say like it definitely, like going back to being intentional, it definitely made me like, now when like I'm like massaging my husband or massaging my daughter, because like I said, I'm not practicing yet. I'm really thinking about, okay, when I'm doing my massage, well, what meridians am I also massaging? So, and then along those meridians, what organs am I affecting? So, like case in point, like the lung meridian, which starts up here, and you just go along like, the thumb side, or like being able to affect the heart along the pinky side. It's like, or affecting the bladder that's on your back. You're working on your back, but you're also working the bladder or the gallbladder that's along the sides of your body. It's like that. It's like, that's what I got in my mind now, that like, it's more than just focusing on the muscles, which that's what I used to do. But now it's like not just the muscles. I have that mindset of, what else am I affecting here? And do I need to focus a little more on that specific meridian, And so that's where the intention comes in now. And so now it's like, okay, it definitely was a total mind shift for sure.
I love that. That's awesome. I mean, I think that's one of the main benefits of learning something new is really changing your intentions behind your practice and your movement and everything that you do for that client, because they might come in and go, well, I had open heart surgery 20 years ago. And, maybe I just took this class and now I might focus on their heart meridian, you know, whereas I might not have known to do that before. But do you think that even if somebody has something that's been years and years ago, that it's something that you can affect today?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, that's one thing that she did teach us is that, like say we have a client that like comes in and they're holding on to a lot of grief. Maybe they lost a spouse or a very close family member and at years, but yet they just have all this grief, but because it's manifesting physically, but yet we can help affect that. We can help them by working on certain meridian points or meridians, certain, potent points, we can actually help them to let go of that grief. So, or maybe they have too much anger, whatever reason, they just fly off the handle all the time and stuff. And we can help them with that. We can by working on certain points, we can help them to release that. And that's really cool. That's not just it doesn't have to just be something that's recent, oh, this just happened to me. We can help something that maybe that's been several years down the road that they've been hanging on to, that they don't realize that that's been manifesting. That's what's causing the lower back pain. That's causing the neck and shoulder tension because they've been hanging on to these emotions, and we can help change those emotions and help them to release that. And then in turn, be able to relax the body and help them to actually truly heal, from the inside out. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I'm thinking about so many different ways that we can use this as therapists, but in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to our society, we have there's a trigger word. Trigger word's not the right term. There's a word that we use a lot now, which is self-care and mental health, right? Those are big words in our society right now that we're focused on. And it sounds to me like this is something that can really help with self-care and mental health. Because if you're having an anxiety attack, for instance, if there's something you can do to help yourself come out of that anxiety attack or prevent yourself from having it or going into a full-blown panic attack mode, and you can use some essential oils on specific places to help you reduce anxiety, what a gift that is.
For sure. For sure. I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, that's one of the many things I loved about the program was that every class, at the beginning of every class, it was all about self-care, about doing it to ourselves and getting our own energy and feeling our body and just what are we feeling this time? All right, let's get the energy moving. Let's work on the meridians. How do you feel now? And it's and so it definitely makes you really focus, hey, because can't give from an empty cup, obviously. And I know as therapists, like any healthcare profession, we're excellent at giving advice and horrible about following our own advice. So doing this program, it's really made me really look at my own self-care and okay, like you said, when I'm feeling those times when I'm feeling anxious or stressed, now I have something in my toolbox that I can help myself. And like you said, I don't have to feel oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? Who do I talk to? I mean, I actually have that tool physically that I can do to myself to help me. So I'm not feeling that stress and anxiety or when my kids have stressful things going on in their lives, like school testing or whatever. Hey, let me put some oil on these points and help you to calm your mind, feel a little more focused and just chill out a little bit,
Yeah. I mean, I could see this being a really awesome tool for especially moms with teenage kids or kids that have anxiety, which is pretty much everybody in life right now. I mean, let's be real. We all have anxiety. Every single person on the planet has some sort of anxiety. Whether you're on the spectrum or not, or whether you're, have anxiety attacks or whether you've been diagnosed with ADHD, we all have anxiety. And I think that was something I took out of the pandemic was that we're all messed up.
Oh yeah.
we all have problems. And we're all anxious about stuff. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, get vaccinated. What's in the vaccine?
Don't get too close. Yeah.
Don't get too close. Don't touch this, don't breathe this, don't say this, don't sneeze on this. And I mean, it was just so overwhelming, right? And
yes.
I think learning that we all have anxieties about stuff actually helped me be less anxious. And that sounds really backwards because when you're around other people who are anxious, it kind of makes you anxious. But to me, it felt like, oh, everybody's anxious. So my anxiety is no big deal. It's not as bad as I thought it was I thought it was.
Right.
Like instead of snowballing, because anxiety has a tendency of having a snowball effect. When you have anxiety and you think about having anxiety, it gets worse. But if you realize you're surrounded by other people who are all anxious too, your snowball is just as big as everybody else's. It's not that overwhelming. That was my point of view. But I really, really like having a tool in the toolbox to be able to calm myself down. And I really hope that other people can learn the same skill. And to be honest with you, Mandy, I'm thinking about this would be a really good class to create how to maybe calm your anxiety by using Chinese medicine techniques.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
I mean, or it could be how to manage your headaches or how to manage your stress levels or how to reinvigorate your marriage. I don't know. I mean, is that part of the program?
Right. No, that wasn't part of it, but that would have been nice. It was interesting because when I went to National last year, I actually, at one of the vendor booths, I picked up a book about Jinshin, I think it is what it's called. And it's actually basically the Japanese equivalent to what I was learning through this program. So it was very fascinating how they're so interconnected. And so, I mean, because with Jinshin, it's literally you're squeezing your fingertips and you're hitting basically the same areas that I learned with all my potent points and the meridians and the meridian massage. So it's just like, how cool is that? That like you got two different nations, the Japanese and the Chinese, and they figured it out. That is, it is so simple. And like, man.
So you mentioned that you worked on yourself during this class.
Yes, all the time. That was our homework, was always working on ourselves. And and then even during the class, we'd work on ourselves. And the nice thing is like she would, check our points for us. Like, so that's one of the benefits of like being on the camera is like, she would actually like, okay, no, you need to go, a little higher, a little more lateral, a little more medial, you're a little, she would make sure we were on the correct point. So it wasn't like you're like, guessing and stuff. She made sure we were on it. So
that's awesome. What is a good example of something you've done on yourself during this class that you had really effective results from? And would you mind sharing that?
I would say the best one would probably be the Aroma AccuTouch and just learning those different sequences for specific, like, for me personally, I was in a bad car accident back, right before my 19th birthday, and I had severe whiplash. And so when I get stressed, that's always where, my stress goes, is my neck. And so just learning the sequence to help release that tension, that was like very super effective for me. I love learning that. And it's, it's just really cool to me that it's just something that's just so simple. And you think like, why weren't we taught this like eons? Like, I really wish I would have learned this like years ago and stuff, because it's just so amazing how it's just something that's just so simple. And yet it produces quick results. Like, it's not like I'm having to wait like weeks or months on end to like, okay, this isn't working. No, I'm feeling it right away.
So you felt relief in your neck immediately when you did that. That's so cool.
Yeah. So that's what's, it's like, it's really cool. And I'm not massaging myself. I'm like, all I'm doing is just it's like, yeah, you can kind of do it, but it's like, I'm not doing anything other than just put some aromatherapy in certain points. And it's like, that's cool.
Cool. I'm so excited about this. I mean, this is just really, really interesting. And I hope that your friend, is it Resla? Raisla.
Yeah.
I hope she listens to this podcast.
I'm going to let her know that I gave her a good shout out for this.
I hope she listens to the podcast. Maybe she'll leave a comment on the notes section of the podcast with, her contact information would be great, because I think it would be helpful to the massage therapist listening that may want to look further into this.
Offer individual classes too. So like for those that, maybe you're not quite ready, like you're interested, but you don't know quite what it's about and you don't want to do the full program, she does offer the programs individually as well too. So that's, just to put it out there, for our listeners that, if you're not quite ready to take that whole, jump in with both feet and do the full 10-month program, you could do it by bite-sized chunks too as well. And, I highly encourage anybody that's, if you're really interested and really like going the next level with holistic therapy, this is definitely a way to do it. So
good. Okay. She said it. You better do it. If you're wanting to go that route, this is the way to do it.
This is the way to go.
Mandy, did she cover how you should charge your clients for this type of service?
I would say yes and no. She kind of was letting us know that for her, she does this service mostly as its own thing, as opposed to, making this integrated, unless she's doing specifically like the shiatsu or the tuina but yeah, so she kind of touched on it, but she didn't really dig deep into okay, this is how you charge or.
So it sounds to me like you can kind of create your own path if you want to do an add-on, or if you want to make this a specific massage plus Chinese medicine kind of a thing.
For sure.
Or you can do just a whole session just on this.
Yes. Yeah. That's the nice thing. It's very versatile. So yeah, that's, it's anything, that's what I'm trying to figure out now as I'm rebranding myself and my business, how I want to market this and stuff. Do I want to just, I'm kind of considering, instead of, no longer offering 60-minute sessions, only offer 90-minute and above, just so I can incorporate all this into just a regular massage session,
That makes sense.
So, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm getting there, still working. I have time because, like I said, I'm not actively rushing out to find clients right at this moment. So it's I have that time where I can just kind of take a breather and figure out what I want to do with life.
Good. Figure out what you want to be when you grow up.
Yes, exactly. And meanwhile, back in the ranch, I can focus on all my AMTA stuff.
So are you a part of the AMTA North Carolina now?
I am. I'm the financial administrator. So that was a big leap of faith. I have to say, I was nervous about taking this position because finances are not my forte at all. But it actually hasn't been as hard as I thought it was going to be. So
good. I have every faith in you, Mandy.
I definitely miss being secretary. I think being secretary was a lot easier. I think part of it's just I did it for so long. I just kind of got in that little groove, but it's always good to try something new. And that's what I really wanted to try a different position, and so, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. I think, what they say is try something new every day that scares you. And, I don't want to tell everybody that you should volunteer for the AMTA or something like that. But I do think it's worth looking into if you're a massage therapist to at least get your feet wet and see what happens in the associations, and not necessarily AMTA. It could be ABMP. There's a few others out there, but I would encourage people to at least go out and look at their events. Maybe show up to an event or two, see if you can't find somebody that you can relate to and become friends with. Maybe find somebody that could be a mentor or that you could mentor for them. All of it's scary. you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to my class today about the fact that networking's not fun for almost everybody. So
no, it's you're really taking a leap of faith and stuff. And it's kind of like kind of going back to what you were saying about volunteering and stuff. I mean, I became a board member, and I know not a lot of people realize this, but I became a Texas chapter board member as a brand new therapist. Like literally, I mean, I don't even think like the ink was wet on my certificate, honestly, because I graduated in June. That like following, I think it was October, I went to my first national convention, which was in Pittsburgh at the time. And I hadn't even met anybody from the Texas chapter, mind you. Literally did not know any other massage therapists at the time. Take a leap of faith, go to the national, finally ran into, my Texas peeps over there. And Susan Matheny, who was president at the time, she just saw something in me that she reached out to me that following January and asked me to be secretary. And I was just like, okay, so that was that's probably like one of the scariest things I've done, honestly, as far as being a massage therapist, just taking that leap of faith and saying, yes, well, I'll do it. I mean, what do I need to do? And it's just been an amazing journey for me. I've gotten to meet so many wonderful therapists and getting to pick the brains of therapists that have been in the profession for 20, 30, 40 years. That is so inspiring to me. And yeah, not to like say that you have to join AMTA, because I realize there's other listeners that are probably part of other things, but just get involved with something, because just having that network and being able to bounce ideas off of other therapists and, go into these like conventions, that's what energizes me. That's what it is just so awesome to be, at these conventions around hundreds and thousands of other therapists from all over the place. And you get inspired. It's like you cannot leave these things without getting inspired. And I always encourage people. It's like, please get involved. I mean, do something. But we're a giving profession. But like, don't forget to give back to our profession. I mean, and I'm so passionate about what massage can do for us. And that's why I just jumped in with both feet. And I'm like, I said yes, and it's been the best decision of my life, even though it's been scary at times, not going to lie, but it's been awesome. And I really encourage our listeners, take that leap of faith. Don't be afraid. Even if you're a brand spanking new therapist, new graduate, it could be a life-changing experience for you, like it was for me. So
thank you for sharing that, Mandy. I totally agree with you. I think that being involved with the group has been very helpful for me too. I mean, I didn't know you were so new to the industry when I met you. I guess that's true, because it's probably been about 8 years since you joined our group. And now that I think about it, I was like, wow, I didn't realize you were a brand new therapist back then. I just love the fact that we have people of all walks of life. I met a young man who's 19. He just graduated from high school and becoming a massage therapist. But then we also have many of us, like you and I, who are joining a second career choice. And, we're not 19. We're a few years older than that. Not much, but
I wish for that. Sally, those years are gone.
I do really like, I kind of agree. I'm like you, where I walked into a national convention and didn't know anybody in Texas that was a part of the AMTA. I went to Raleigh, North Carolina for that one. And I remember walking in and looking at all of the vendor booths. And I was like on a second story or something, kind of looking down on all the booths. And I remember as a brand new therapist thinking to myself, is this a real profession? Like, are we real professionals in this business, or are there just like woo-woo people that are like, crystals and, energy healers? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted to make sure I was a true healthcare professional. And I was worried that people wouldn't take me seriously. And when I was there at the AMTA looking at all those booths and watching people in suit and ties, not just men, but women dressed up, professionals, I started crying, because I realized these are my people. we're all professionals, and they actually take this profession very seriously in our industry. And I'm so thankful for that, because I needed to know that there were other people in my same, my same thought process, and I think that it's also important to realize how much we really like each other. It's not a typical industry. We are not fighting each other for customers. We don't.
We shouldn't be. Yes.
We shouldn't be. I'm not encouraging that behavior, but I do think it's real important that you utilize us as a new therapist or even a long-standing therapist. Utilize your network. If you're coming into a problem in your business, one of us has probably been through that before. And talking about it, even if it's embarrassing. Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't have any bookings until October. What do I do? Or this happened in my business and, what do I do? Or I forgot to pay my bill and my power went out. That's happened to me. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's okay. It's okay. The lights went out. I can still do a massage in the dark, by the way. That's what I got from them. And my clients are very understanding. I'm sorry, I didn't mean this to happen. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to finish your massage and figure it out. Are you comfortable? We all have made mistakes. Some of us have made more than others. But if you have a problem in your business and you need help, that's a great place to go, is to go to these conventions and meet people like Mandy that really care about our profession and want to help you and are there to help you, really. Because we all work together and help each other out. Because I'm talking to Mandy about this Chinese medicine thing and I'm like, this is really interesting. I want to learn about this, right? But that doesn't mean I'm taking away anything from Mandy. I'm supporting Mandy's journey, right? And I'm encouraging it. Just like she's talking about who taught her and encouraging us to, to go to that instructor. I'm an instructor, but that doesn't take anything away from me. We're all working together.
Exactly. Yeah. We're not in competition with each other at all. There's plenty of clients for everybody to go around. And going back to that niche thing, we all, it's all about finding your niche and finding that, everybody has their specialty, and back when I was living in El Paso, I was a mobile therapist and, I lived on the Far East Side. I loved the fact through AMTA, tooting the horn again, but just the fact that I had a network of therapists that, if I didn't want to go to the West Side, I didn't have to. I could say, hey, I know perfectly good therapists that can help you that do just as good of a job that I could do, or if not better, or I don't do sports massage. That's not my thing. It probably never will be my thing. I love the therapists that can do it and stuff, but knowing I have therapist friends that I can refer my clients to, hey, you need sports therapy, here you go. I have the perfect therapist for you, or you need rolfing. I know someone for you. This is amazing. It's we should not be looking at each other oh, you're going to take away my clients. It's we should definitely be looking at each other. And like you said, doesn't matter if you're brand spanking new or if you're a seasoned therapist, we can all learn from each other. Just we need to stay open-minded and realize we still have a lot to learn. That's one thing I definitely learned from being a board member, back in Texas, is that, because being a newbie, I'm very much a think outside the box type of person. When someone tells me, oh, well, we've always done it this way. Well, why can't we change it? Why not? Just putting that seed out there that, hey, let's, being stuck in ruts, it's not always a good thing. Just because it's always been done that way doesn't make it necessarily the best way. And, our profession, if we want it to keep growing and expanding, we got to be able to think outside the box and learn from each other and accept each other and not look at each other as the competition, but look at each other as family. We're family. We're here for each other. I always, I used to tell the brand new students that would join our meetings, we're your biggest cheerleaders. Use us. If you're feeling like, that you're losing that motivation or why I didn't, what the heck am I doing? You reach out to us. We want to cheer you on. We want to see you, graduate and grow your business or even if you work for a franchise. More power to you. We want to be there though for each other to be, we should be each other's biggest support. We shouldn't be looking at each other as the enemy at all.
I completely agree. I told the class this morning, I was like, we need you.
Please. Yes, because how are we going to, it's like, if we don't have new graduates, eventually, the ones that have been in the profession 20, 30, 40 years, they're going to be wanting to retire. And if we're not getting that new blood in, eventually our profession isn't going to grow and it's going to start shrinking. And then we don't want that to happen. We want it to grow,
That's
especially
right.
since we're fighting so hard to be recognized as a healthcare profession. We have to grow.
And the demand for massage therapists has grown.
Yes.
Higher and faster than new massage therapists are coming into the industry. So the demand is high and the supply is lower, which means you can charge more money for massages.
Exactly.
According to the supply and demand curve, when demand is high and supply is low, you can charge more money. So get into the massage business and get going because it's fire right now.
Yes. Now's the time.
Now is the time. And if it's not fire and you're not like getting a lot of people on your books, I know it's summer and things are a little slower. I'm booked until October. If you need help booking and getting booked and marketing your practice, find a mentor, either through the AMTA or somewhere else. Heck, you can contact me if you really want a mentor and say, I want you to be my mentor. Will you help me?
And Julie's a good mentor.
Thank you. And I would highly encourage people to do that.
Yes.
I have done that before with several massage therapists. I like your style. I want you to mentor me. Will you help? And I've never had one person turn me down with that question. So what's the harm in asking?
Exactly. We need to use each other as our best assets. We really do. I really think that too many therapists, unfortunately, get into this, profession with like just being in a zone where, it's just about me. I can't, and it's like, no, we're all in the same boat together. And it works a lot better when we all paddling the same direction instead of everybody trying to paddle their own way,
Yep. It's true. It's so true. But I think most people understand that, but I don't know that if most therapists actually take advantage of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we've had the pleasure of being involved in a group like this very extensively. So, it might sound like we're just trying to talk people into volunteering for the AMTA. That's not what we're doing at all.
No, it's just volunteering just in general. It's like, it does not have to be AMTA. I love promoting AMTA because I know what AMTA has done for me personally, and it's been such a wonderful experience. But I know there's therapists out there that may not have had such a good experience with AMTA, and that's okay. There are other groups out there. Just get involved with one of them and find your tribe and attach to them and learn from them and motivate them. And,
Yes, I love that so much. It's so awesome when you find a group of people that you really connect with that can help motivate you and you motivate them. I think it's so important. And we have such an important career and for us to motivate each other it's priceless. It really is priceless. And it's so rewarding to be able to help someone else in that situation when they're down in the dumps and they can't figure out what's wrong or what they need to do differently. And it's really rewarding as a mentor to see somebody grow and learn from you and then fly and find their own wings, Anyway, I want to wrap this up because we've been on the phone for more than an hour and I really want to respect your time. But I'm very thankful that you came on.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Is there anything that you like to share that we didn't talk about today?
I just say for the therapists out there, don't sell yourself short when it comes to our profession, because, we are doing amazing, amazing things. And even if it doesn't seem like you're making a difference, you are making a difference. You really are. And you don't realize, maybe, a year from now, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, you'll have someone coming up to you and telling you, you inspired me. And I think, that's all we can hope for, is that the fact that, maybe that we can inspire somebody or truly help them, facilitate them in their healing process. What more can we ask for? I mean, yeah. So, and don't be afraid to reach out. Just, don't be afraid to reach out, because there's just.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And those of you that are listening and not watching, I want to say that Mandy definitely is feeling all that she's saying to us right now. I can see it in her face, making me want to cry.
Don't start crying or make me start crying.
But I think most of us have gotten into this business not for the money. It's for helping others.
And I think if you are in this profession for the money, then you're in it for the wrong reasons, honestly, because your clients are going to be able to tell. They can tell right away whether, if your heart is not truly into massage, you probably shouldn't be massaging. I mean, that's just my honest opinion, is that you probably really should not be massaging. You need to find a different profession, because the clients can tell. They can tell those of us that have the passion and the heart, and they can tell the ones that don't. So yeah. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, thank you, Mandy. I appreciate
thank you, Julie.
Everything you said was great. I think we had a great episode.
Yes, we did.
I'm so happy to have had you on my program and for you to share all about the Chinese medicine program that you took. I appreciate that. And your time, your very valuable time. Thank you so much. We can't have you back in Texas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Handcrafted Therapy podcast. I would love to hear from you. You can email us at podcast@handcraftedtherapy.com, or you can come by the store. It's at 3303 North Central Expressway, suite number 240 in Plano, Texas, 75023. Or you can connect with me on social, Instagram, Facebook, #HandcraftedTherapy. I'm Julie Alexander, and I wish you a very happy and healthy day.